No, I can't serve you if your underage daughter offers to pay. Our store policy is that we ID parties of anyone who looks to be under 45, and we have to identify everyone in the party. Often my coworkers and I neglect this policy if we can tell someone is clearly over the age and the kid with them is their child. But we will ID if the person who looks underage says in front of us that they are going to drink any of the items or if they offer to pay. Now on to the story.
Man, that Mountain Dew is mine.
One Mountain Dew on the rocks, please. I was working the closing shift, and around 8 p.m., a woman and her teenage daughter come up to my register. I do the typical greeting and start ringing. Everything goes well until I ask for payment. The total was $100. Mom says that she is paying cash, but when she starts pulling out money, she realizes that she only has 80. She says that she is going to give me the 80 and put the rest on her card. No problem. People do that all the time. The issue: her daughter pipes up and says, "Mom, just use some of my money. I just got paid." And I start thinking that this isn't going to go well, but reluctantly say, "Sure, you can help pay. But in that case, I need to see both of your IDs."
Not sure how I feel about that one. In a way, I get it. But at the same time, like, there's been times my mom's like, "Oh, shoot. Like, I forgot to pull out this much money, and your dad has the card. Do you, by chance, have, like, a 20 on you, and I'll give it back to you later?"
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't understand why you can't just give the money to your parents that are still paying for their drinks.
I get what you're saying, but also at the same time, I'm like, it is policy, and if they don't follow it, they could lose the liquor license. But at the same time, I'm like, it seems like they don't always follow the policy at the same time.
I wonder what the actual policy, like, what it actually says. 'Cause I wonder if it's like that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that technically does fall under the policy, but doesn't. Like, I wonder if
Right.
it's like one of those gray areas that they just have to decide, and they just say it's
Yeah.
policy. Plus, I've never been at a place that sells liquor, so I don't know what
Right,
like
I
sting
don't-
operations are like and
Right, I
stuff.
don't freaking know at the end of the day. I'm with you right there, too.
But I think I did visit one place one time, and the person said that, like, he can't pay when my mom did that, but if he gives you the money, you can pay.
So like a little loophole.
Yeah.
I feel that reminds me of freaking Lilo and Stitch.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's this scene when Lilo and Nani are going to buy Stitch. Nani is about to give the money to the clerk or the owner or whatever, and Lilo comes up and it's like, "I want to buy him.
Oh,
I have $200." Nani gives the 200 to Lilo. Lilo gives the money back to Nani, and Nani gives the money to the clerk.
why does that seem like something you would do?
Mom flips out, starts screaming that her daughter is clearly underage, and it's ridiculous to ID them over $20.
All right, interjection right there.
All right.
No matter whether it's policy or not, like, if somebody says they're not going to do something, typically they're not going to do it. So if they say, "Hey, you can't buy this unless if I can see her ID too," they're not going to change their mind just because you got mad. You might as well just save your time, save
Right.
your energy, and move on somewhere
Right.
else.
Yes. It's just like this could have been so simple. All you had to do was just pull out the ID, and if you say that your daughter is 21 or over, then what's the issue? Just have her pull out her ID real quick if she's clearly over 21.
She isn't, though. She's underage.
No,
Remember?
she's underage.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well,
it's
that's
like,
what I'm saying. It's like, I've never seen it where somebody says, "This is our policy," or "I'm not going to sell you this," or something like that. And person flips out and makes a huge deal. And then they're like, "You know what? Now that you're screaming in my face, I think I can actually do this. You are actually right. That policy is wrong."
We should totally not follow the law at all and stick to your plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what goes through these people's heads.
Bravo. You know what? You should get a medal for that. Maybe even the key to the city.
Let's even say that like the policy person was like the person being the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, that's not policy or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Once you start flipping out at them, you become the asshole.
Right.
Everybody's going to view you as the asshole in that situation.
It's pretty dang childish too. It's like, why don't you keep your temper and let's have an actual adult conversation about this. It's just like to simply ask a question like,
Or just go to a different store.
Yeah, just like, oh, but she's clearly over 21. Why does she have to show her ID? And just like, oh, well, that's her policy. Like, she has to show her ID if she's offering to pay.
Or get creative. Go out to your car, wait a minute, and walk back in just you. Yeah, just me.
Got the money right here.
It's all my money.
Loophole. My manager rushes over and asks what the problem is, and Mom switches her ire to him and continues screaming for half an hour about how it's ridiculous that I am asking for her ID because she is clearly over 21, and that her daughter is clearly under 21, and how I don't look old enough to be working there, and I should be fired because I am also underage. Eventually, my manager tires of being yelled at and calmly informs the mother that there is a line forming behind her, and we soon close, so she can either stick with her original plan of paying part cash, part card, pay cash for what she is able to, and leave the rest, or just leave. She eventually chooses.
Like I said, it's not gonna change anything,
right? You could have just said, okay, you know what? If that's a policy, I'm just gonna stick to paying part card, part cash.
And now there's like, yeah, it's frustrating sometimes, but I mean, what can you do?
She eventually chooses to just say, she eventually chooses to just pay part card, part cash. I smile and tell her to have a good night. She glares at me, pushing her daughter out of the store, and leaves in a huff.
Sounds
and then
about
she
right.
puffed. And then she blew that bar down.
Sounds like this will be on Karen's Gone Wild.
You know, that should be a TV show. I think that would be a smash hit.
I actually wonder, I think Penguin Zero Moist Critical, I think he does a thing called Karen's Gone Wild.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he covers stories where they've gone wild. I think. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure he does.
That's amazing if he does do that. I think I would watch that all day. You know how satisfying it is to see Karens get their dues?
It is, man. When you watch those videos, it's like going to the zoo. Watching them in their natural habitat, you're like, wow, I'm glad I'm not in that cage with them.
Right. Like, I'm glad I'm on this side of the camera and not on that side of the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah, Karens are only fun to deal with when, like, you see, like, their face, like, I'm wrong.
Please don't feed the Karens. Signs up, picturing it as a zoo now. Please don't feed the Karens. There's, like, another line where they get to, like, reach up and feed peanuts to Karens.
What is up with you and zoos today?
What do you mean? I only brought up a zoo once.
In this video, yes. But this is the same day.
I'm waiting for you to take me to the zoo. Why aren't you talking about zoos?
Have you never been to the zoo?
You're not talking about zoos enough.
What?
Exactly.
How did this fall back on me?
You started it.
Nuh-uh. 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 You started it.
Bet.
And now I feel like a freaking toddler. Nuh-uh. You started it. You know what? My dad can beat up your dad.
Karen's Gone Wild.
No!